This week, David and I have taken a trip to Ebenezer, about 60 kilometres along the Hawkesbury River with Jaguar's E-Pace.
Ebenezer is an interesting place. It's one of the early rural farming areas in the European settlement that was developed. In fact, for a while there was more people here than in the administrative centre of Parramatta.
And this church behind us hails from about 1806, I think I saw on the plaque.
Said to be the oldest church still standing in Australia.
Yeah. So this area is steeped in history. And of course, Aboriginal history goes back 60 to 80,000 years. But you know, Jaguar's also got history, hasn't it, David?
Well, it does go back into the 1920s or so. Where
something about swallowing?
Sidecars.
What?
The Swallow Sidecar Company was started by then William Lyons,
later
known
as SS.
SS, which led to a certain
unfortunate connection
leading up to this, or leading up to, and then in the Second World War. Yes.
You know which it is. We don't talk about it. We don't mention the war. But Jaguar we do mention. And the E-Pace is their smallest SUV. So you've got E-Pace, F-Pace, and of course the Range Rovers as well. This is a similar size to a Range Rover Evoque. It's got a 2-litre engine with
183 kilowatts.
More than enough to be going on with.
Oh, look, I think it's smooth and powerful enough, yeah.
All-wheel drive?
Yes, and a 9-speed automatic transmission.
Replacing the old 8-speed that they used to have. How do you find it, David?
Well, I much prefer it. I thought the 8-speed in the Evoque and that, there were times where you just thought that it wasn't sure what it was doing. I think this runs smoother.
Not only that, this car comes with central keyless push-button locking and push-button start. When you get home, you go into your garage, turn the car off, it'll put itself into park, and it'll activate the parking brake so that the car doesn't roll away on you. But what you want to know is what it's like on the road. Before we set off, one of the things I do want to point out is this is one of the easiest infotainment systems in the business. You can see that it is the latest version of Apple CarPlay. It's already brought up a route back home, which I really like about Apple CarPlay. But of course, if we want to go back to Jaguar, as Austin Powers used to say, you just hit the Jaguar button and now we're back in the Jaguar system. This I particularly love. You can scroll up and down in the left-hand menu to get to radio, navigation, what have you. But in the right-hand menu, if you hit temperature, it brings up the seat heating. Now, this car doesn't have seat cooling, but if it did, you can see there's space down below. So you'd swipe up to get most, swipe down to get least. Now, the dashboard is also electronic, which really, to be honest with you, I expect these days. I expect a fully digital dash. On there it shows me my active lane control, so let's put that to the test, although I don't think we're on roads that have lanes. They don't have markings of any kind.
Here we are in historic Ebenezer, and I don't think lane line is a reflection of the type and volume of traffic.
I don't think they had many problems when they had horses and carts. Now we're on this quite narrow country road. One thing that I noticed about being on the highway is it was unbelievably smooth and unbelievably quiet. Now though, in this 50 area, so we may be in the country but we're still in a 50 area, there is a little bit of road noise on these big wheels. Well, so Bill Lyons said Jaguars had to have space, grace and pace. And I think this certainly has grace. It is just a stunning looking car. As far as the pace goes, the 2-litre turbo engine, 183 kilowatts, is more than enough to be going on with.
I think it's fine. I like the interior for its simplicity in a way. It's not trying to make angles, nor is the outside sharp angles that make it look like a Space Invader. It's got simplicity yet style to it, its own
Very
style.
stylish.
Stitching's very nice.
And you've got a built-in Jesus grab down here, Jesus grip, for when you do your little bit of light off-roading. The air conditioning controls are nice and easy to use. At the moment I've got it on low temperature, synced with low fan, so it doesn't make too much of a noise on the recording equipment, that I think are just what you're going to want. You don't have to go into a menu. Although we did try navigation a little earlier on, and trying to input details was, shall we say, an experience. It's not as good as Apple CarPlay. Most of the places this car is ever going to go will be within cell range, so that means that you've got the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto power of the internet behind it, as opposed to this car, which has just got the power of the car. But let's get onto the car itself. David, what do you think of the ride?
It's got 19-inch wheels, yet I don't feel the typical low-profile tyre thump quite as much as
No, I
others.
don't either. All-wheel drive means that when you take off at traffic lights, there's no either screaming of the rear tyres or torque steer from the front wheels. The automatic transmission, I haven't felt a change so far. Well, the other thing, of course, is that there are drive modes. There's one of the buttons down here. This doesn't have active dampers, so the only thing that fettles is the transmission and steering and throttle. Fuel consumption, let me see if I can bring that up for you. Where are we? Is 8.8 litres per 100 kilometres, which isn't too bad for a car this size.
For a petrol engine.
You're pedalling now, David. What do you think?
Again, the smooth surface makes it very, very easy. I felt I sat low when I first got into it, but not too low, but it just felt...
See, that's my fault, and that's because I've got a slightly dicky back. So I have the chair low so I don't have to duck under the window to get in. This is what you've got to look forward to. This is what you've got to look forward to.
Head-up display of simplicity. There's not a lot of information in it, but above all, the speed in a digital form,
Yep.
I like.
Me too. And in fact, when I get into a car now that doesn't have a digital head-up display, I feel like I'm camping. Yeah.
It's interesting that this screen is set down below the vents and gives it almost like a log fire sort of design, where it's not up and prominent like a television set.
I know that it's got a little bit of history, but I don't know that I'd go so far as to say long fire. But I take your point. But one thing I did notice yesterday, and we noticed it a little bit this morning, but it's not so much so now, is that with the glare from the sun, this screen was very difficult to read. And a few days ago, I was in late afternoon sun. I couldn't read the driver's instruments. The sun there was reflecting off the area underneath it.
It's very unusual in that it's a very white or even light grey background.
That's a theme. I changed that.
Okay, I thought there might be
themes. Yes, yeah. So it's when you go into the settings, you can fiddle that and what information is displayed where and so forth. That's all for Jaguar Repace. David, what did you think?
As a package, I think it has elegance and style.
It's light and it's nimble, and it is very, very stylish. Do you think does this feel luxurious?
I think it feels an ambience that makes you feel good, and that's.
I agree.
Whether it's luxurious, it can be pretentious. I think this is something that has design in it, not just bling.
And I love the red. You're not so fussed?
I think it looks a little bit like a Monaro orange. I thought when I first saw it, it was very strong, and I thought they'd brought back the XU1.
Oh, well, it's a bit like us. Retro. But retro in a good way. We're just really knackered. But as always, if you've liked the film, hit like, leave a comment, and just over here to subscribe.